greetings from Arizona. It is a beautiful sunny day here, and I hope you're staying warm wherever you are. We have an amazing guest today, and I know I say that a lot, but this guy really is rock royalty. Damon Johnson. He started out in this band called Brother Kane, and I love this band. You may remember some of their rock radio hits like Got No Shame, And Fool Shine On. And with that band, Damon got to do shows with Van Halen, Robert Plant. And if you just looked at the Brother Kane stuff, that alone would be an amazing career. But no, he would then go on to be on Alice Cooper's Guitar Player. He played with Thin Lizzy, which I think he's currently still playing with them sometimes. Plus, he's also worked with Ted Nugent, Sammy Hagar, Faith Hill, Stevie Nicks. I mean, you really can't get much bigger than that. And now he's back. He's got his solo band, Damon Johnson and the Get Ready, and they have a new record out called Battle Lessons. You can get this on the website. It's in the notes, or you can listen to it on streaming, however you get your music. But this was a really fun interview with a lot of great stories. So enjoy it. Welcome, Damon Johnson, to the Chuck Shoot podcast. How are you doing today?
Chuck, I'm doing really well. I'm doing extra good. I thought I had a little water problem from the from the deep freeze, but it turned out to be okay, man. Where are you? Like, where do you live, Chuck?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, close to Phoenix.
Oh, of course. I know Scottsdale really well, man.
Yeah, your buddy Alice Cooper lives down here. So
my buddy Alice Cooper lives out there. The best man in my wedding, one of my best friends on the planet, is a ear, nose, and throat doctor in Phoenix proper, out in Chandler.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
If I ever need somebody, I'll have to get that referral from you then.
Hey, brother, he's the man.
Okay.
He's the man. He has seen every esophagus in the business, Chuck.
Okay.
Seriously, man. From Billy Joel to Mick Jagger to Steven Tyler to Bruce Springsteen. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. But
he's
so
a pro.
Anyways, back to you and music and all this. So you were recently interviewed by my good friend Rob Lane for his Straight to Video podcast, and you guys covered a lot of the early stuff. So what I want to do is maybe just pick up kind of where he left off and go right into the Brother Kane stuff, because that's how I became a fan of yours. I was a big Brother Kane fan. I love this band. But I'm just curious, like when you first started that band, I mean, there were so many years that, I'm assuming that you struggled in some of those other bands like Split the Dark and Witness and Delta Rebels and Chinatown and all this. I mean, you must have learned a lot, but was there ever a point where you're like, oh, I should just teach guitar lessons or, do music on the side, or you were still just going all in for the full rock star job, right?
I was going all in for the full rock star job, Chuck. That's a great question you just asked. And I've often, like my kids are all, I have 5 kids. From my oldest daughter is a high school counselor and just gave us our first grandbaby. And then my youngest is 12. So between the 5 kids, they run the whole gamut, and they're always asking me about that time period because, if you just look at the reality of how things were just kind of on a day-to-day level and making a living, I probably should have given some thought to, maybe going back to school. I was fueling off of this continual reaction by other musicians, other managers, other bands. There was something about my guitar playing that was really speaking for me. It was resonating with people. And in a real quick succession, Chuck, between 1987 and 1990, I was in 4 bands. It was Split the Dark, Witness, Delta Rebels, Chinatown. Every band was made up of different people. So each one, I learned more. Each one, there were some cool things about it. There was some potential. You thought something was going to happen. And I guess in a way, the good news is we found out pretty quickly that, things weren't going to really develop for one reason or another.
Okay.
But
you just kept going. I just kept going.
Yeah. I just kept going, man. I was so inspired by the success of bands like the Black Crowes. Driving and Crying was another really popular regional band. They were based out of Atlanta as well. They were having some success. There was a scene in Atlanta at the time. And see, when I was in that band Witness, I was in Atlanta a good bit around 1988. So I just felt like I was really close to it. I thought, well, hey, if these guys can do it, I can do it. So, Witness had some issues. The Delta Rebels had some issues. Chinatown was really just a cover band. But, man, that band it played a big role for me, Chuck, because that's how I met. I was in the bars playing in that band. That's when I met Scott Collier on drums, Roman Glick on bass. I met Glenn Maxey, who was our original bass player. All those guys, man, were kind of from that scene. And that's what I put Brother Kane together.
And then, not to jump ahead too far, but it is, when you talk about meeting people, you met Eric Dover in that band. Never did you think in 20 years, I better be nice to this guy because in 20 years, he's going to help get me a job with Alice Cooper. Like, is that just kind of like, it's an interesting life lesson, right? Never know. You better be nice to everybody because you never know when somebody could help you out later in the future, right?
Well, one thing is for sure, man, my parents were amazing. They gave me so much great information. Even as a kid, they never burn any bridges ever. Even if something doesn't work out, I'll always say, thanks for the opportunity. Good luck to you, and move on to the next thing. As a little footnote about Eric Dover, I don't know that there was any single person in the Birmingham music scene more talented, that had more skills in rock music than Eric Dover. He could play anything. He's just saying his brains out, Chuck. I remember it like it was yesterday. He sat in with us. We did a cover of Purple Rain, and he went into that whole outro refrain and sang it like Prince.
Wow.
He did all the falsetto stuff, all the screaming and all that kind of like R&B thing. I'd never seen anything like it. And we just knew that guy's going to do, some big stuff.
Yeah. Got to sing with Slash and guitar with Alice Cooper. It was amazing. But
he was in Jellyfish.
Yeah, Jellyfish. Yeah.
Which was, talk about other level skill set.
For sure. Back to you and Brother Kane. So Marti Frederiksen, let's talk about him because he's I feel like he's another member of Brother Kane, really, because he helped write those songs and produce, and he went on to work with Aerosmith and Motley Crue. And can you just explain that guy's process? Is it all just raw talent, or is it does he meditate? Is he doing drugs? Is it networking? What is the secret to his success?
I can't really make a commentary to what degree the drugs have played a role over the years. I do know the first time we had a chance to smoke some weed, I passed. It's just never been the drug for me. And Marti got right in there. He was like, hey, bro, let me hit that.
So that might have something to do with the creativity.
Well, I'll try to condense this, Chuck. Chinatown evolved into Child. Child we were writing original songs. We had a singer for a while. I was just a guitar player. Man, that lasted about 9 months. We showcased, we got some interest, we had some good songs. Nobody really was a fan of the singer enough to sign the band. Virgin Records signed us to a development deal, said, we really love Damon, we love these songs, we're going to help him find a singer. We tried that for 6 more months, tried several guys. I became the singer, Chuck, by default. That's a whole other story. I don't want to get too sidetracked with that. We can talk about it more if you want. But so right at that moment, thanks to Virgin Records, my A&R guy, Aaron Jacobus, and I was working with their publishing company, a great, great talent named Sharona Sabag. And Sharona was sending me cassette tapes. Well, here's some of our writers. Here's some people you might be interested in writing it with. And Chuck, no disrespect to those writers, I just didn't like any of the tapes. It sounded it was a little too pop. It was a little too college. It just wasn't anything. Man, I was looking for Paradise City, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was looking for Jealous Again, Black Crows. I was just into that.
Okay. And so, yeah, but sorry, go on. Was there more to that?
I was just gonna say, I got out of this bag.
You picked Marti.
Yeah, I would get bags of tapes, man. There was this random tape. I've kept it for prosperity.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
On the spine in pen, it was written Marti Frederiksen.
Okay.
And I put it in my car, and
Good
I heard
choice.
these songs, man, that just rocked their ass off. The drums sounded incredible. There were big hooks and harmony vocals, and it didn't sound like 80s hairband stuff, but it wasn't, college or anything weird like that. I mean, it was just balls to the wall rock, like Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Right.
So that's how, and we got together. I told the publishing girl, Sharona, I said, can I write with this guy? She said, sure. Next, come to LA, we'll hook it up. And, Marti came to the door. I opened the door, Chuck, and we looked like twins. I mean,
really?
Like identical twins, man. We both had long, straight hair.
That's funny.
Mine's a little more gray now than it was then, but same height, same, almost dressed the same. And that was how it started. Marti was he was further down the path as a songwriter and an arranger than I was.
Sure.
Lyrics weren't necessarily his forte. We worked on that a lot together. I think the lyrics were always the toughest thing for us. But man, I could play anything on the guitar, and that guy, man, he would start singing these vocal melodies. That's his trick, Chuck. That's the juju right there. When he wrote with Steven Tyler and they wrote Jaded, it was Marty's melody. It sounds like Burt Bacharach. Man.
That's cool. Incredible. That's neat. So then, and tell me this is another songwriter that I don't even know if I knew this at the time, but you worked with West Arkeen, who was, if people don't know that name, he wrote with Guns N' Roses. He co-wrote the song It's So Easy, which is one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs, and a couple other ones. How did you get hooked up with him? Was it the same kind of thing? Did he send you a tape, or you must have already known his name? Like you didn't really need to.
Oh, I knew his name, brother. So when Marti and I started having some progress, I started kind of fine-tuning my search as far as anybody else to collaborate with. Because look, you got to keep in mind, bro, there was still no guarantees that a record was going to get released.
That's true.
We had to have great songs. So Sharona, once again, I was like, oh, who else could I write with? And she sent me more of a shorter list. She goes, well, here's some other people kind of next level. And as soon as I saw that name, West Arkeen, I was like you. I knew exactly who that was because, the credits on Appetite for Destruction said GNR number 6, West Arkeen. Like he was the 6th member of the band. And he did write It's So Easy with Duff and Izzy. And again, that's another long story.
Sure.
West changed my life. He changed my life, man. We had 2 songs on the record that we wrote together, and we wrote a couple more. There's one that I swear to God, man, I'm going to put it on my next record.
Oh, cool.
It was the very first song we wrote together in 1991, a song called Rattle My Bones. And
that sounds cool.
It just sounds like Appetite.
Really?
But it's yeah.
Oh, man, I want to hear this.
Yeah, man, I showed up with a really killer riff, and, he instantly was drawn to it. He goes, okay, let me work on that. And I just kept playing, and he started writing. And, man, I got to see, again, Marty's forte was melodies, arrangements. He could play, great guitar, so we could just play together, and I would riff, and he would change a chord, or, lyrics, man, with West. West was a dark soul. You've probably studied up on him a little bit.
Yeah.
West had a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear what happened to him. I didn't realize he'd passed away, but yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, man. And there was definitely an edge to him, just the life experiences he had had. It's like, man, if you're going to write songs like It's So Easy, you've lived some life. You've seen some things. You've been through some stuff. Man, I hadn't really been through a lot. But I had the presence of mind to recognize okay, here's someone I can learn from. I can give him my story, and then we can mold it a little bit. We can make it, um, we can tell a different story. There's no rules in songwriting, as you know. You know,
Sure.
it doesn't have to be autobiographical. So it might start with this idea, but then Wes would just take a left turn, man, and it would just go straight to the street, you know, and I'd be like, yeah, that's what I want.
That's
right
cool. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have to read the lyrics more closely on those songs that he co-wrote then. That's really cool. But so Got No Shame. I love that was my first introduction to the band. I think I must have seen it on Headbangers Ball. Such a great song. I have two questions about the song. First question, how the hell did you get a blues-based rock song on radio and MTV in 1993 during the height of grunge? Like, how did you guys do that?
I don't know, brother. You know, a lot of credit goes to Virgin Records radio promo staff. They worked so hard. They believed in the band. I think a lot of the regional radio promotional people, Chuck, at that time, they were still kind of rooted in straight ahead rock, like the stuff that they personally liked.
Yeah.
So they could tell we were a little more meat and potatoes, man. You know, we were a little more Bad Company, Grand Funk, you know, a little bit of Black Crowes in there, you know.
Definitely not hair metal, and definitely not glam rock at all. So maybe that's why you guys were able to kind of sneak that in, because there still was a little bit of that. Like you said, the Black Crowes and that stuff wasn't passe at the time. So
no, there's no, and you know, my manager used to say this. He said, "Listen, guys, we got lucky. You know, we were able to stick our big toe in the door right before it closed."
That's a good.
You know, we had enough of the past to have quality influences. We'd paid attention to whatever coolness we could find in the 80s, like Guns N' Roses, like the Black Crowes. You know, a little of that rolled off on us. And then we were of the same influences that, you know, the guys in Pearl Jam were listening to the same records we were. We didn't have the punk rock. That's one thing that we were void of. We didn't have any punk rock influence, but you know, I had those same Who records that Eddie Vedder did.
Oh, sure.
And,
all the 70s stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same Zeppelin records that Chris Cornell did. So, you know, that's how we kind of made it happen. But yeah, Got No Shame was how lucky were we, Chuck? How lucky was Damon Johnson that his first foray into the major label record business, you know, radio, MTV, touring, was with a badass rock and roll song like Got No Shame,
with a harmonica. So that's my other question. Now, when I've never seen you guys live, I'd love to see you either solo or if you did a reunion show with Brother Kane, I'd love to catch that. But when you guys do it live, who plays the harmonica? Because it wasn't a band member that played it in the recording, right? It was somebody else,
right? Yeah, it was. That was a legendary Birmingham kind of his name was Topper Price. Topper toured all over the Southeast. He was like an authentic blues man in every way, you know, the good and the bad. You know, he was another one that struggled with a lot of drugs and booze, but God damn, that guy could play the harp, man. He just, you know, is one of the best. I would put him up against anyone you want to, like, let's have a competition. I'm talking everybody from Little Walter to the guy in Blues Traveler. I'll take Topper Price any day of the week. But yeah, man, when we started playing live, Roman Glick played rhythm guitar on that first record.
Right.
So when we would play Got No Shame, he would just grab a harmonica and play the intro. And he did a pretty damn good job, man. A lot of credit to Roman, because he wasn't a harmonica player before. He just put in the time, man, and started practicing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then after that first record, our bass player moved on. Roman's original instrument is the bass. So he went back to the bass, Chuck. So check it out. He built this little contraption, which was basically a mic stand with a clamp on it. And he could just put the harmonica in that clamp. It had a bullet mic underneath it. So he could be playing the bass and just walk up and blow the harmonica.
Nice.
And then step back from it, you know. And he didn't want to wear the Bob Dylan, headpiece
Oh,
kind of
okay.
thing.
Yeah, no,
He's
it's
like,
too much.
he's like, man, he goes, yeah, Bob Dylan owns that. I'm not cool enough for that. I want to be able to rock out and move around. So
Yeah, no, that's cool. Well, like I said, I hope to see you live. And so what? So he's not obviously with you now. It's just you and the trio. So how will you do it with the trio?
well, we just don't have the harmonica.
Oh, you just don't do that part at all?
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah, now I will say this, man. Any opportunity I have to have, a good harp player sit in and jam, I always say yes. Rarely have I turned down, because man, people will just come straight up and go, "Hey, man, can I play the harmonica on Got No Shame tonight?"
Yeah.
And most of the time it's someone I've never met, and I kind of do a quick little look around to the people with him, like, "Hey, is this guy legit, or is he pulling my leg?" And
Yeah.
most times they'll go, "Oh yeah, he'll be
Okay.
great." So
That's cool.
and
Well, yeah. Look forward to
because
seeing
it's just
that.
like it's just a jam.
Yeah.
It's just a jam anyway, as far as the harmonica parts. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Thank you for asking about it.
Yeah, so many good songs with Brother Kane, but unfortunately, yeah, that band did end around 2000. And then I think was your next project, Sammy Hagar. You got to tell me about working with him. I'm so jealous. Like, he just seems like such a fun guy to hang out with. Like, does he make you do tequila shots with him? Or like, did you have fun or was it all business?
It was all fun. It was, Chuck, it was all fun.
That's what he seems like. He's always fun. Even when he's working, it's fun.
Well, yeah, let me tell you how fun it was. Now, I was still in Brother Kane.
Oh, okay.
I wrote with Sammy in 1996.
Oh, okay.
Well, six or
Is that the Marching to Mars or something? I think it was called.
Right. Marching to Mars was the record. We had just toured with Van Halen the year before.
Yeah.
Sammy was a big fan of our song "And Fools Shine On." He loved it.
It's a great song, yeah.
Loved it. Thank you, man. So right after he split with Van Halen, he called me at home in Birmingham and he said, "Hey, man, I'm going to make a record right now. Would you want to come out and write something with me?" And I said, "Of course." So he flies me straight out, brother. I mean, like 4 days later, maybe that very same weekend, picks me up at the I guess it was the San Francisco airport. He lived up in the hills there in Marin County in that wine country up there. He picks me up, brother, in the red I Can't Drive 55 Ferrari.
Like the same one?
Yes.
Wow, that's got to be surreal. Is he wearing that outfit too? Didn't he have like a jumpsuit or something?
No,
okay.
He didn't wear the jumpsuit.
That would have been funny.
He scared the shit out of me, man. He
really can't drive 55.
Yeah, man, he can't drive 55. He jumped straight out into moving traffic in that thing. And I remember grabbing the thing.
Oh, God.
He's like, "Hey, Johnson." He goes, "Hey, Johnson, don't worry, brother. I got you. Don't question the Ferrari, bro. It's all good."
Has he had tequila at this point, or hopefully not?
No,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, the tequila thing was already happening. It hadn't really kicked off.
But he wasn't drinking the shots when he was driving the Ferrari.
Oh, hell no.
Okay, just checking.
No. But check it out, man. We went straight up to his house. We had a couple beers, went right in. We went to work, which I loved, man. There was no messing around.
Yeah.
We wrote a couple things really fast that were great. I stayed at his house. I had some of the most insane red wine I've ever had in my life. He's got a little wine cellar built into this kind of like a little hill. If you just look out his back door, you see this grassy hill. You just think it's like a mound of dirt. He's got like a wine cellar in there, man. And
wow.
And then the next morning he made me pumpkin pancakes for breakfast.
I wish this was during the cell phone era. This would have been an amazing like Snapchat video of Sammy Hagar with an apron making you pancakes. That's crazy.
Chuck, I gotta tell you something, bro. I don't think I've ever told anyone that story.
That was amazing. That was a great story.
Yeah, pumpkin pancakes, man. And
with Sammy Hagar. That's crazy.
And one final little thing I have to mention, and I did tell this to another interview recently, but he flew me back out there, brother, about 3 weeks later to record the 2 songs we had worked on together. And the band was essentially Montrose. without Ronnie Montrose. It was Bill Church on the bass, Denny Carmassi on the drums, Sammy Hagar, and me. And we recorded those 2 songs together, bro. Talk about a dream come true. I mean,
there's so many dreams come true that you've had, though. I mean, Stevie Nicks. Tell me about that one. I don't know. I was trying to find out like how that came. I haven't heard the story. I know you wrote a song with her, but like, I mean, it's not like you reached out to her, because I'm sure she gets reached out to all the time. Like, she kind of has to pick you, right? I mean, was she a fan, or was it through a mutual friend? Or
no, bro, it was a total fluke. Brother Kane was about to come to an end. I continued to write. I thought about maybe putting out a solo record. But I went to Los Angeles. I wrote a couple more songs with Marti. And then I wrote songs with my friend John Shanks, who is another mega talent, has had huge success, way big success as a producer and a co-writer. So John and I wrote this song called Every Day. And it's a lyric I wrote about my girlfriend at the time, who's upstairs making, I think, brownies for the kids right now. And so I came back home to Alabama, and about a month afterwards, John called me and said, "Hey, man, I think we might get a cut. Somebody wants to record our song." He goes, "But I can't tell you who just yet." And I was like, "Okay." Well, he goes, "Are you all right if someone else cuts the song?" Well, at that point, I knew John had been working with a lot of young, like, female pop singers, like Hilary Duff, Michelle Branch, a couple of others, like he was really doing well with that. And I was like, hey, wow, if one of those, girls were to cut the song, it could be a hit. I'd never had a hit song, besides, the Brother Kane stuff, but that was just on rock radio.
Yeah.
Pop radio. The whole
so you would be okay with that, even if it's like not really your kind of music? They turn it into like poppy song.
But our song was kind of poppy.
Okay.
It was just a real simple melody, very sing-songy, almost nursery rhyme in a very cool way. So the next week, Chuck, he calls and he goes, "Hey man, I'm gonna hold the phone up to the speaker. Check this out." So I could hear our song, and I heard this voice, and it's over the phone. I'm like, wait, I know who that is. I couldn't, come on, man. It would have occurred to me like, oh, maybe that's Stevie Nicks.
Right? Yeah. What the?
Yeah. So sure enough, it was Stevie. And, I almost dropped the telephone. I remember thinking Stevie Nicks is one of the great songwriters of the rock era, and she wants to record my song. Come on, man.
And also just one of the greatest female voices so for her to sing yours, I can't imagine if you had to pick a female voice to sing your song, she's got to be at the top of the list.
Well, she's an icon, she's a legend. And, the only component of that story that I want that is incomplete is I've yet to meet Stevie in person. We spoke very, very briefly on the telephone. Mm-hmm. She just said, "Hey, I want to say hello. I love the song." She said, "I love your vocal melody. I'm going to sing it exactly like you wrote it." And I'm just like,
wow.
What? So, yeah.
That is a great compliment. Dang.
That was a great compliment. That was a big phone call. And of course, everybody in my world is freaking out. The publishing company that I was still working with, that same girl, Sharona. She was so important for me. I'm telling you, Chuck, Marti Frederiksen, West Arkeen, John Shanks. I would have never met any of those people had it not been for Sharona. So
that's amazing.
So a lot of credit to her.
Yeah. So then back to what we were talking earlier with Eric Dover, he gets you the call. It's for Alice Cooper. So you get the job with Alice Cooper. So tell me, what is it like You play golf with him, right? Does he get recognized on the course? Like, because I've seen him around Arizona. I've seen him at the mall one time, and my girlfriend's parents saw him at like a storage unit. Just like, it seems like he just kind of hangs out. Like, he doesn't try to make a big fuss like I'm Alice Cooper. Like, I'm going to the mall. I'm going to storage places. Like, is that like that way on the golf course as well? Is he getting recognized or?
Yeah, he totally does, man. Talk about Alice Cooper is more comfortable in his own skin than anyone I've ever met. He is 100% normal. He's just like you or me. Loves music, loves his kids, loves his wife, loves golf, loves to shop, loves movies, popcorn. You know, and then for an hour and a half every night, man, he turns into, you know, the shock rock Lord of the universe and goes out and drops all these bombs with his performance and just, you know, does his thing. That, I mean, basically he pioneered that whole kind of presentation, you know? So yeah, Alice was a game changer in every way. It was great for my confidence. It was amazing to write songs with Alice, you know, the legend. He kind of has different hats, you know, one is the performer, you know, one is you know, the husband and father and kind of the public figure and the rock star. But another hat is Alice Cooper, songwriter. And it was just a thrill beyond anything I could have imagined to get to do that. And of course, we played so much golf. Oh, Chuck, my handicap got really good there for a while.
Oh God, I'm so bad at it. I love golf. I need to do it more. I think, is that how you get better at it? Cause I'm so bad.
Take some lessons, bro.
Okay.
If you really want to get better,
yeah,
you need to take some lessons and then you need to put in the time on the range.
Yeah. It'd be nice if I had some natural talent. I feel like then that would encourage me to.
I got good news for you, brother.
Yeah.
I had no natural talent.
Really?
And full disclosure, I sucked for a long time. I played with Alice for 5 years. I sucked for 4 of those years.
Really? It took that long it's a hard game.
Yeah, just because look, man, it's one thing to be out playing every day, but you're not taking lessons. You're not on the range. You're just getting out there and chasing the ball around, really. And, you know, I asked Alice one day, I said, Alice, what's my problem? Why can't I get any better? He just said, buddy, until you get a real swing, you're going to continue to struggle. That's all I needed to hear, bro. I was like, done. As soon as that leg of the tour was over, I went home, got me a coach. I started putting in the time, man. Because look, you're out with Alice. You're playing the best golf courses in the country.
Yeah.
You know, we played Bethpage. We played Whistling Straits. We played Wingfoot. We played, almost got to go to Augusta National. I mean, it was just insanity. You know, he's an ambassador of golf, just like he's an ambassador of rock. So
he's pretty good, right? Is he better than you?
Oh God, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he get annoyed though? 'Cause that's my problem with golf too, is I'm so bad that if I go with a friend who's good, they're going to get like annoyed because I'm always keeping them up or whatever.
Chuck, that's another one of the greatest things about Alice. He never got annoyed, ever. He was so
It's amazing.
patient. Well, look, he wasn't. Look, he didn't like stop what he was doing and come over to help me. He as long as he could keep his pace going.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, he didn't care if you had to hit the ball 15 times on every hole. He didn't care.
So it's
He
crazy
just wanted
though.
you to have a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like such an awesome time. You're Alice Cooper's guitar player, getting to golf with him and hang out. It seems like such a dream job. But it was your decision to leave, right? Didn't you leave for was it the Southern rock country band Whiskey Falls?
I did. Whiskey Falls came across my desk in my 3rd year with Alice, and that there was so much talent in that band. There were already some undeniably great songs in that band that I made the decision to give it a shot. And again, on paper, remember, I'd already been through Witness, the Delta Rebels. Dude,
Right.
Brother Kane had tons of success at radio.
Yeah.
We could barely make a living, honestly.
Really?
Chuck. You know, because we were just on the road all the time. Yeah, we opened for Aerosmith and Robert Plant, but what, we're getting $1,000 a night for those shows. That's just enough to
For the
put
whole
gas
band
in the
or
bus.
each?
The whole band.
That's it? For Robert Plant?
Oh, that's it. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
listen, that happens more often than not.
Well, now I
trust
hear
me.
that the opening bands have to pay to get onto these big tours and such, which is
A
crazy
lot
to
of
me.
times they do. We were
Mm.
fortunate. We had good management, and they knew a lot of people and
Mm.
a lot of phone calls. One of the guys on our management team was a total legend in the concert promotion company, Tony Ruffino. And Tony Ruffino grew up in the business with Robert Plant's manager, Bill Curbishley, who was a legend. Bill
Hmm.
Curbishley managed The Who.
Oh,
Robert Plant after Peter Grant passed away. So, Tony just called up Curbishley and said, "Hey, I got my boys, this band, Brother Kane, they're really good. And if you got anything, keep us in mind." He goes, "Would they want to open for Robert?" And Tony goes, "I think they'd like that."
yeah. And who's going to say no to that? Jeez.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Alice, back to Whiskey Falls. Yes, I just, through all of these experiences, Chuck, there's always been this thing in the back of my head that I want to be a member of a band that is succeeding, that is selling tickets, that is selling records, but that I can focus my songwriting and my kind of craft and my guitar playing into doing that one thing and have some success at it. So I took a chance on doing that with Whiskey Falls. And, Whiskey Falls didn't make as much noise as Brother Kane, but we definitely accomplished a lot in the year and a half we were together. And, and then it was just another band that ran into some obstacles that we just couldn't get across. And thank God, after I left Alice for Whiskey Falls, Jason Hook became the guitar player that took my place. Well, at the end of Whiskey Falls, Jason Hook left Alice to join Five Finger Death Punch.
Right.
And the tour manager, Toby Mamus, called me to ask me if I knew any other guitar players that might be available. And I said, yes, I do.
So then you went back to Alice for a little bit.
Went back to
and
Alice.
And then you ended up joining Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
So
Thin Lizzy / Black Star Riders, right? Can you explain that? Because it was like they didn't want to make new material under the Thin Lizzy name, so it's basically the same band. You just called it Black Star Riders for the records. Is that how it worked?
Kind of. It's a little convoluted, and now that I've had the advantage of kind of some perspective and some distance, I think that whole situation could have maybe been navigated a little better. But here's what it was. Thin Lizzy toured all of 2011, 2012. They were having real success selling tickets. There was, Scott Gorham and that group of players had kind of brought the band back to some level of like, hey, man, this is good. This is the best version of the band since Phil passed away. And Scott goes, I want to start writing some songs. Well, myself and Ricky Warwick, the singer in Thin Lizzy, we got very excited. We were like, hell yes.
Yeah.
So, Ricky was an experienced writer. I was an experienced writer. And we knew that Scott wasn't, Phil Lynott wrote those songs, Chuck. Everybody knows it. Scott contributed a lot. And Scott's got some co-writes on several songs. But Phil did all the heavy lifting. Ricky and I knew we would need to do a lot of heavy lifting. And we were ready for that, man. So we initially thought it was going to be a Thin Lizzy record. And kind of in the 11th hour, Scott and the management and Phil Lynott's estate, they'd been having conversations and they just decided it would be better not to call it Thin Lizzy, which was the right decision, bro. There is no Thin Lizzy without Phil Lynott. If you're talking about putting out records, no, that would have been a mistake.
I think
it would have been fun. It would have been fun for me. I would have loved it. And yeah, I could have probably withstood the barrage of hate mail and hate posts we would have gotten on social media for, it's just how it is. So Black Star Riders, man, in Europe, we had some success. People buying the records. We started selling some tickets and it was great. And I was there with that band for 3 albums. And, I've got nothing but positive memories and positive things to say about that band because I wouldn't be here talking to you about battle lessons, about my fully focused solo career, had it not been the fulfillment that I got from Black Star Writers. You know, Ricky, especially writing songs with him, that guy's amazing. And it just got me back, man, to wanting to write more, to kind of sing my own songs and get back behind the microphone.
Yeah.
It's a weird path, man. It's a weird path.
Yeah. You've done so many there's another project you did, Slave to the System, with members of Queensryche and Roman Glick, your buddy from Brother Kane, who's also in Jackal. That was an album in 2002, but there was a second album that was never released, right? Or was it?
Yeah.
Is that ever going to see the light of day?
Yes, it is, bro. But simply because Kelly Gray, you know, Kelly and I did most of the songwriting, and Kelly and I are great friends to this day. As a matter of fact, there's one song on the Battle Lessons record, my new record, that Kelly and I wrote together. Slave to the System was badass. That record was badass. And as we speak, Kelly is getting that original record remastered. And we want to at least get it out on the streaming site so fans can get it. I don't even think you can find it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one actively working it. So we want to get it back out there.
That'd be cool.
And man, we got 6 or 8 tunes that are very worthy of us, you know, recording and putting out a second record. It's the only kind of project that I want to do, because I'm telling you, brother, I'm 100% fully focused on Damon Johnson and Damon Johnson and the Get Ready. That's it.
What about I didn't know your buddies with Rachel Bolan. I had him on the show. I was a huge Skid Row fan. Would you guys ever do a project, or would you ever have him help you write songs for your solo stuff? He's a great songwriter too.
I would write songs with Rachel any day of the week. We've written many songs together.
Really?
Chuck. Yeah, you may not know this, brother, but that first record that they put out after Sebastian, it was a record called Thick Skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I co-wrote 3 songs.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. That's really cool.
There's a song called Ghost.
Yes, Ghost, yeah.
That was me and Rachel and Snake.
Oh, okay.
I love that song so much, and I am bound and determined to record my own version of it.
Oh, wow. Okay, very cool. So
great lyric. Great lyric.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your solo career. So you said that you love not having to, you know, compromise or wait for other people or have to work with people out of state. Like, this is much easier to be in a band. You know, they live close and you get the final say and everything. But isn't it also kind of scary to know that you don't have that like Alice Cooper money behind you or Thin Lizzy kind of like recognition? I mean, that's got to be a little bit frightening, right?
Yeah. What is the word? I'm not frightened, but there's no question. It is a lot of work to do what I'm doing now. If there was a way for me to pan back, you could see what a mess my little cubby hole here is, man. Because we're mailing out CDs and T-shirts and all these people that have pre-ordered the record. Listen, man, I'm fully independent, and I wanted it that way, Chuck. You know, look, rock and roll is never going to be the cultural influence that it once was. This was also part of my reason to leave Black Star Writers. It wasn't sustainable for me to continue to be a part of that. It was just too much time in another country, and really we were just building it in one place. I'd like to be able to be with my family more, play in North America more, which is where I'm from, where people are familiar with my singing voice. They remember Brother Kane.
Yeah, I love Brother Kane.
The Stevie Nicks song was kind of a hit here. Like, there's just more profile for me here.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, well,
it's great. I don't regret any of those things. Joining Alice and joining Thin Lizzy. Come on, man! It changed my life. It put me where I am now. I don't want to take any more of those gigs. I have graciously passed on a couple of opportunities just in the last year from very established bands that had a position open. Yeah.
Can you say who they are? Or?
I can't do that because it would be disrespectful to the guy that, you know, is in the spot now.
Oh, maybe you can tell me off the record then.
It's so flattering, man. When I get an email or the phone rings, somebody says, "Hey, this is so-and-so, and your name came up and you came highly recommended, and we're looking, we need a guitar player that can sing." and
Yeah.
you're the guy. And I'm like, guys, thank you so much. But if I do that, everything I've worked on the
Yeah.
last 3 years
No, I get it.
comes to a complete halt. And then guess what, Chuck? I'm back to waiting on an email
Yeah.
that's going to have my entire year laid out. This is your schedule.
Yep.
This is where we're going to go. And I have no say-so in it whatsoever.
So you want the freedom. So let's talk about this new record, Battle Lessons. The songs are actually written in 2019. You recorded all this before the pandemic, but the songs are about like working past struggles. And your good friend, producer Nick Rasku, I can't never say his name right. Raskulit?
Close.
So
Let
bad.
me help you, brother. It's really easy. Raskulinix.
I couldn't get that. But he's worked with Rush and Foo Fighters and Alice in Chains. I mean, he's amazing producer. So what else can you tell me about these songs?
Yeah, these songs started in the end of 2019. I have an old friend, a monster talent, Jim Troglin. He's from the Birmingham music scene. We met early in the Brother Kane days, and we've just kept in touch through the years. And we've collaborated on different things. And Jim has kind of a wacky creativity, and I'm the more organized guy that can kind of take that wackiness and contain it and kind of pull things out of it and go, okay, I'm going to take this, and this. Thank you very much. You go work on something else. I'm going to finish this song, and then let's start another one. And bro, when we finally did that was what led to my 2018 solo album, Memoirs of an Uprising. Jim and I co-wrote most of that as well. So we got a good thing, man. And we work fast. We have a lot of fun. I'm not overthinking anything. I feel more fearless as a lyricist than ever in my whole career. And Battle Lessons is a giant leap forward. The riffs, the guitar is front and center, the arrangements, my rhythm section, Jared and Robbie played their ass off, and Nick made us, I mean, dude, my record sounds as good as the Foo Fighters, dude. Any of those other records Nick has made.
Yeah, you got all the same. He's using all the same equipment and such and techniques. And
well, he's just using the same techniques. You know, the way, you know, the drums, incredible. They sound great, and that's always kind of the foundation that we build on. But you know, Nick has got so much great gear, so many killer guitar amps and guitars, and it's always a fun experience, man. So,
and you said that this is your best work that you've done. I mean, because I interview musicians all the time of course they're going to promote their newest record, but you can kind of tell when they're not really feeling it like it's their best thing they've ever done. But you are feeling like this is the best record you've ever made.
Yeah, you know, you're right. What you just said. In a way, it's like almost everybody says it. Oh, it's the best thing I've ever done. You can tell when somebody's phoning that in when they don't really.
Yeah, or sometimes they won't even say that. Like I interviewed the singer. I don't know if you know the band Raw, but I interviewed the singer from the band Raw, and I told him, I said, that new song you have is the best Raw song, and he goes, and he wasn't like, oh, I agree. He was like, okay, like I don't think he agreed that it was their best song. So he's like, well, you'll have to hear some of the other stuff. So it's interesting. But you really, I mean, you've said that repeatedly that this is like, you're really proud of this record.
Yeah, there's an energy. There's so much tempo. There's so much balls to the wall. You know, the same way I felt when I was 19 years old, listening to Van Halen, listening to AC/DC and Thin Lizzy, you know, as a kid, that I felt the same way then as these songs make me feel now. So I just feel like I'm having a moment right now with my writing, with kind of my vision for what the songs are. The guys and I are getting together literally this week to kind of knock the cobwebs off for the first time in a while. And, you know, getting ready to, you know, we want to be prepared, Chuck. You know, the vaccines are starting to get rolled out.
Oh yeah.
There's starting to be a little bit of activity, some kind of performance situation, some dates. There's a couple things coming up. We're going to get to support some bigger bands.
Yeah, I think you have a show with Blue Oyster Cult this summer. That's a big one.
That one's on the books and confirmed. There's a little run with ZZ Top that I'm hoping is
Really?
going to get announced. Yeah,
Oh,
soon. Nothing crazy, but like 3 or 4 shows. Hey man,
that's great.
we'll take it, bro. We'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, we just want to go play. We want to get
Yeah.
out there in front of people.
And you'll do
So,
all the Brother Kane hits and everything?
oh yeah, no doubt about it. Look, that's the other thing. I feel like I'm very lucky, Chuck. You know, and I'm not just the guitar player in Whitesnake or, you know, again, no offense to those guys, they're great players, but they don't have Brother Kane in their history.
Right.
They didn't write songs or sing or,
No.
you know.
No, I agree, because I love that you got that job with Alice Cooper as a guitar player. I think that's awesome. But I also think like it's almost kind of a waste because you are Brother Kane. You're the voice of Brother Kane. You should be singing those songs and creating more songs like that.
Bro, there's been so many fans of rock music that have said word for word what you just said. And that just fuels me, man.
Totally.
I'm so grateful look, I'm just grateful people feel that way, because they could be like, hey man, this stuff is okay. Maybe don't lose Alice Cooper's phone number, whatever there's been none of that.
You got a catalog with Brother Kane, with your other solo stuff, and then do you do like some Black Star Riders in there? Are you throw in one of the Alice Cooper songs or what?
Yeah. I mean, we don't get crazy with those songs, but we definitely have.
You have a lot to choose from.
We can do anything we want.
Yeah.
You know, like when I first started playing full-time solo 3 years ago, the set was a little heavy on Thin Lizzy and some Alice Cooper covers, because that was what the promoters wanted. Oh, we're going to get this Damon Johnson guy to come play at our show, and he's in Thin Lizzy. And so, okay, whatever. And we play Got No Shame and Fool Shine On and Hard Act to Follow and I Lie in the Bed I Make. And then 2 or 3 of the new ones. Dude, this year, it's going to be heavy on the Battle Lesson songs, Memoirs of an Uprising. Yes, we'll play a Thin Lizzy song. We have to play Got No Shame. We have to play Fool Shine On.
You got to play That Don't Satisfy Me. That's a good one too.
Oh yeah, dude. We play all of that stuff. Yeah. So over the course of, say, if we're in an opening slot situation, over the course of 40 minutes, we can get 8 songs in there.
Oh
man,
yeah.
where they're going to hear 3 or 4 that were hits that they recognize.
Right.
That I either sang or it's a Thin Lizzy song that, you know.
Sure.
Like my sister loves to say, Damon, you're on Thin Lizzy's Wikipedia page. Your name is on there.
There you go. It's pretty cool.
No one can take that away from me.
Yeah. Are you on Alice Cooper's too? You should be on his one as well.
Oh yeah, I'm on this somewhere, man.
Yeah, that's cool. You
know,
got quite a resume. It's amazing.
The difference is Alice Cooper's had about 35 guitar players in his history.
True.
Thin Lizzy's had 6, and I think that's it. So
would you say? Would you never say never to like being a guitar player in an Alice Cooper or Thin Lizzy kind of thing in the future, or you're just saying like right now you really want to focus on the solo stuff?
I would never say never.
Yeah.
Let me clarify. When Thin Lizzy goes out and plays, I'm still playing with Thin Lizzy as we speak.
Oh.
The good news, it's a very minimal quantity of shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did 4 festival dates in 2019. Amazing. All in Europe, but it was great. Saw the guys, we rehearsed, worked up those killer songs, had a blast, had some good food, had some laughs. I was over there for 2 weeks. I came home, went right back to my thing. And that's the way it's going to continue to be. You know, Scott Gorham just had his 70th birthday. And, you know, look, if he calls me and says, hey, bud, I'm ready to go crazy. We're going to book 75 shows this year. I don't know, bro. I don't know if I would want to do 75 Thin Lizzy shows.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm not going to say no. You know, that's a conversation I'd have to have with my family first. But I'd certainly need to talk to Scott and all the guys in the band. Like, well, all right, well, what's the plan? What are you thinking?
Sure.
Again, man, 75 shows with anybody.
It's a lot.
I gotta put Battle Lessons on hold. And I got a badass band, brother. They want to work too.
Yeah.
I need to keep those guys busy.
Yeah. I want to see you live. Will you have any shows in Phoenix or Scottsdale? I think we're kind of open here. I don't know. I think concerts are happening. I don't know.
We will have shows, Chuck, in Phoenix, guaranteed.
Okay,
guaranteed. There's too much. There's a lot of love for my music there in that town. I know so many people there.
Great.
Alice is just one of the many people I know there. So
Okay.
I love Phoenix, and there's some rock and roll fans out there for sure, man. So
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing a show. Thank you so much for doing this. I do like to end with a charity. I think I mentioned that. I hope I did. Do you have a charity that you support or that you want to give a shout out to?
We support the World Central Kitchen.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
The World Central Kitchen, yes. And it's simply about getting food to underprivileged communities all around the world.
Okay, I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great cause.
Is their initials, WCK.org.
Okay, perfect. I will definitely put that in the notes. And if people can find a way to throw a few bucks that way to help support, that's obviously a great cause. I've never heard of that one, and that's interesting.
Well, good on you, man, good on you for even thinking like that, bro. I think the world needs that now more than ever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think music is also an amazing thing that can help the world that we need right now to bring people together, despite all their differences and all that crap. Just come together to a rock concert and let's hear some Brother Kane songs and Damon Johnson solo stuff. It's going to be amazing.
I like that idea, brother.
Very
Chuck,
cool.
Man, I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too. I loved your stories. You got some great stories.
Well, thank you, brother. Shout out to our common friend, Dan Sokolik, for connecting the dots. Dan is a good man, a lifelong Brother Kane fan, and he's just one of the great people that I've had the good fortune to meet in these years.
Yeah, that was amazing. He reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to interview Damon Johnson from Brother?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I've actually been messaging him on Instagram, and he doesn't respond to my messages. So yeah, but you probably get like too many to go through all those. So yeah, the fact that he could hook it up, I was like, yes, I'm in. I've tried this, so this was great.
Chuck, I'm glad you said that. I got to do a little better job with that. What you're talking about?
Oh God, no! It's so I think my thing is like I always think that that's the best way to reach people, but I think most people prefer email. I'm learning that as I go. I'm like, because you guys probably get so many just random messages from fans and such on those sites that it's probably harder to weed through it all.
Well, sometimes you're right. Sometimes there are so many random things that I think you just kind of get this sense in your head, like, yeah. I'm only going to check that once a month, but yeah, email is always great. Listen, email is the it's the meat and potatoes of the communication world, man. It's undeniable. You got to have it. It's just one of the. It's in this basic food group, you know.
Absolutely,
what I mean?
Yeah. It's like more, but I think it's a little bit more coveted because not everyone has your email. So if get with a publicist or something, that's always a little. Then it's less to go through, which I understand. So, well, thank you so much for doing this. I look forward to seeing you guys perform a show somewhere soon in the future. I hope.
Chuck, thank you, my friend. It's great to meet you. It's great to talk with you.
Yeah,
you've got all my socials and stuff. Yep. People can get the album at DamonJohnson.com.
Yes, I will put that in the notes as well. So
get the CD there. The vinyl, we are hoping to get those by April.
Oh, nice. Yeah, vinyl's making a big comeback.
Yeah, all the vinyl pressing plants are slow, man, because all these classic bands are reissuing their entire catalog because they haven't been able to tour. So they're like, oh, this is Mick Fleetwood. We want to do, reissues of all these albums. So all us little guys get pushed to the back.
Sure, yeah. No, Mick Fleetwood is, he's Fleetwood Mac. So
he's the Lord. He's the Lord.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Damon. I appreciate it.
All right.
We'll see you.
All the best, Chuck.
Okay, bye-bye.
You got it, man.
Wow. Were you on the edge of your seat during that interview like I was? Listening to these amazing stories of Alice Cooper, Sammy Hagar, Stevie Nicks. I mean, I'm definitely going to have him on again. I could probably have listened for a few more hours. Check out his new album, Battle Lessons. It's Damon Johnson and the Get Ready. You can buy it on his website. It's in the podcast notes, or it's on all streaming services as well. And I look forward to seeing him perform live. He's a super talented man, great storyteller, all around amazing human being. So everyone should support him and his music. If you want to support my show, you can share the episode on social media or check out some of the other episodes I have, like my interview with Rachel Bolan, who we mentioned in the episode, or Brian Weed of Tesla. I recently had him on. Thank you for listening and making it this far into the episode. Have a great day, and remember to shoot for the moon.